seemed like there were some things that you wanted to get off your chest or make some points out there in the outfield to the guys. Just kind of what was that with the team afterwards?
Excuse me. Yeah, that was a good read. We were just kind of going over the series as a whole. And, you know, Monday typically needs to be an off day, and there's always things you'd like to address, and sometimes they get left out. So rather than just send a group text or something like that, it's about as gorgeous of a day as you're going to get. And so we took a little extra time there, and they're going to get to hang out with their families anyway. So, but you started with life's good. We're in the great state of Tennessee. The cream uniforms are hard to not like, and the weather was really good, and it's great competition. And we also mentioned the resiliency they had to come back. I think in 2 of the 3 games, maybe even 3. I mean, Friday it felt like a comeback no matter who was hitting because those 2 guys were throwing so well. So the resiliency piece was really good. But there's plenty of stuff we can execute better. So just bringing it up, and part of bringing it up is I think we got really high standards. I feel, at least when we started, but they've kind of call it the bar being raised or whatever. So we want to hold those guys accountable to that. And, you know, also today in particular, but again, we talked about the whole weekend, had a few examples that you got to point out. I mean, the wind was an issue. Guys could have known that better. We got a couple guys out of position, and we could have helped our pitchers on a couple of occasions, and everybody that's watching knows that's our strength. It's always going to be, but with this staff in particular, if our guys communicate and they're in a position, the position they need to be on defense, and they know the wind, and they just play as well as they're capable defensively, not Superman, pitching staff's even better.
What went behind the decision to have Maui lead off today, and just thoughts on how he did?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is with all that goofy stuff is have him catch up on at-bats. Last night he gets shorted. He had 1 less than Jared did. But then also just give an opportunity for the coaching staff to look at that lineup the way we had it today. Last year, Trey Lipscomb was arguably our best hitter or most productive, and he was in that spot. Jared was in today, and Jared obviously was pretty productive today. So it all worked out the way you want. The first 2 guys, Maui and Simo, the 2 middle of the infield athletic guys we got, get on base, and then we don't get anything out of the first inning, but that's baseball. And Gonzaga's a team that probably their strength is more their lineup. It's pretty dang good, but the stuff they have on the mound is good. So at times they got out of situations like that first inning one. But anyway, that lineup's got a chance to be our best lineup that was out there today. And of course, Cal and Chuck, you can juggle one way or the other, but offensively that might end up being the best one we got.
I guess to Beam's credit, y'all haven't had a lot of classic Sunday slugfests, you know, the past couple of years, I guess. And what's it like to kind of get in one of those, because, you know, obviously they happen on Sunday sometimes.
Yeah, no, it was good for him to experience it. We talked yesterday about if you're going to be a winning team, you got to find a way to win different games. And we won a sloppy game today, or call it back and forth if you want, and Drew's right in the middle of it, so it helps him as well. But he's got, you know, let's talk about high standards. He's got higher standards than anybody. He's also maybe got one of, I should say, the best makeup as far as presence goes on the team. And today he was frustrated, and whether it be the wind, you know, is helping some balls out, or we don't play defense as well as we're capable behind him, or just they were taking good swings against him, which he's, you know, more times than not they don't do that. I don't know, but the guy's not going to be flawless. So I'm all for some of these guys. Combs getting you know, first earned run or whatever. Some of these guys getting that stuff out of the way now. It'll make them better later.
I know it's a 1-game sample size, but do you think it may be more advantageous for you all to have Dickey in a spot where he can drive in runs? And then also, what do you think of Booker and Dryland in the outfield today?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to take the easy way out, but Jared is such a good kid, good worker, and skilled now. I think you can kind of do offensively whatever you think is best. And he's turned himself into a better defender, too. I mean, yesterday was, you rewatch that game, I don't know why he laid down like he got shot down there on the foul. I think that was just his emotions coming out, but almost a miraculous catch. Almost makes a sliding catch, which, you know, I don't know, as a pitching coach, you're cheering for it to be caught, but it wasn't an easy play, and then gets us out of the inning with a really good running catch. So just to be in position to make those plays was great. You know, I'm sure he wants to make 2 out of 3. That's what we're always trying to do, is win a series 2 out of 3, but you can do a lot of different things with him. And again, just the way we had that lineup, we talked about it as a staff and threw it together today. I think we're in a good position to score runs with that group the way that it is.
How encouraging was it to see your team score 17 runs and Lakeburg not have a hit? It was from other guys.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. You want that lineup that we've kind of been lucky the last 2 or 3 years where, you know, maybe Liam and Fergie don't really do much offensively, but Pav and somebody, Russell, do something, and then it flips, you know, either the next day or in the series. And, you know, kind of the deal, we don't know who can get you, but all of us can get you at one point or another. And this team hasn't earned the right to say that yet, or the old, hey, flip the lineup. You know, Chuck could be 9 or 1. He gets on base all the time, and then everybody else could do that. This team hasn't earned that yet, but a day like today could help with that conversation. And really, that's what you want, is 1 through 9, the ability to manufacture stuff, and then also any day have 2 or 3 guys that are kind of the guys that have to come talk to you all.
Dryling and Booker, just kind of what went into Dryling starting out there, and what have you thought about Booker these last couple of games?
Yeah, it's been delayed. I mean, Dylan is really, really talented in a lot of ways, in particular with the bat. And you go into Sunday's game in Arizona, 0-2, and you just go with experience, you know, but the plan all along was to start him 1 game out there in the outfield, and we never did it. So he gets some at-bats, but it's been delayed, and he deserves even more than he's getting right now, and that's to come. However, where we go with all 3 of those guys, I mean, Griffin Merritt's still learning right field at our park, and it's not like he doesn't know how to do it, but just, you know, be able to teach a master class on it like the old man. He's not my old man. I think somebody said that on Twitter. You know, he's most comfortable with left field. So who knows? He could end up there or sticking right. We'll move guys around, but it'd be nice to know we got a 9-person lineup that is kind of what we feel is our best. And then there's some guys that can come off the bench like Chambers and Ensley did today and get on base.
Christian Scott came off the bench too today. Coach got a good hit for you. What did you see from Christian besides his defensive play?
Yeah, good segue right there. Another guy came off the bench and got on base. What I've seen, and I'm only going my conspiracy theories, which I have too many of them, is a guy who has poured his heart and soul into this program and been a major contributor for 4 years. But now it's his time to shine, and I'm going to take over the world. That's a dangerous thing. So I don't care if you're Bryce Harper, and maybe he does have that mentality. He's taken over the world a couple times on the baseball field. But to try and accomplish more than one man's capable of is a dangerous thing. And I think that kind of led to C. Scott maybe not performing as well as he's capable of. So, again, I think to go 10 for 10 like he did 1 for 1 for today is not reasonable, but also he's better than he's shown. Just needs to settle in a little bit.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Tony.